Hey guys, been a lot of chatter on this whole swinging a tree thing. Got thinking, a little nervous with this stuff being on Facebook and the whole YouTube thing. Two things I'd like to hit on here. I'm hoping to sort of, one, to keep somebody from getting hurt, and the other really is have maybe help somebody out with making this work a little better for them. On the safety end, okay? If you're swinging a tree, if I'm swinging a tree, the assumption is I'm not doing it just for the fun of it. I'm doing it because I've seen that the natural lean of the tree, it would fall if I fell it in that direction. The next step is going to be more work than if I could swing it around, side hill, uphill, whichever. That would make the next step easier, whether it's the limbing, bucking, yarding, whatever your system is. So we got to keep that in mind. Why are we doing this? If you're going to swing a tree, you've got to be 1000% okay with it not working. So what I mean by it not working is your tree starts to come around, the hinge fails, hinge breaks, and the tree just takes off on its natural lean and lands wherever it wants to, or maybe even doesn't land, gets hung up. That has to be okay. Plan A, swing it around, make your next step easier. If it doesn't work, plan B is one of those, oh well, I tried, and move on. That's the safety end. Make sure your plan B, if it fails, it's okay. On the production end, the efficiency and just getting this thing to work, I've watched a lot of the videos. They tend to be, I think, don't know this, I think it's more of a West Coast thing, using a Humboldt notch. And I've made one here, right? Horizontal cut first, that aims your tree, notch comes out of the bottom. The angle on that notch is so minimal that even when you make your, as they call them, a Dutchman, okay? So you're taking out the underside on your compression side. You take that out, leave your hinge wood, come around in the back, and you've seen how the tree will lean. I've picked this ash here. You can see it's got a little lean down that way. Now I've made the cut purposely small enough here so I can physically make this thing move, but I'm hoping you'll see what happens. You make that cut and the first motion is actually this way. Now think about how far the top of that tree is moving. If this drops, say a half an inch, it's moving the top of that tree, a 100-foot tree, a half an inch here on a foot long hinge. It's going to move the top of that tree just over 4 feet, about 50 inches plus or minus. So if you think about the strain on that hinge wood, call it the linear pull. If just the lean of the tree as it is, don't mess with it, just make these cuts and nothing's moved. If the pull on that hinge wood, and I always like to use a little stick, what I mean by the pull, right, that it's trying to pull that hinge, that fiber apart because it's leaning this way. Just to use a number as an example, if the linear pull on that little piece of hinge wood is say 1,000 pounds from the height of the tree, right? If you undercut it and lean that crown even more, I'm guessing that's going to go tenfold. From 1,000 pounds of line pull to 10,000 pounds of line pull because of, or whatever the number is. I hope you get my idea there. It increases the linear pull on that hinge wood tremendously. So all of the swinging stuff, and it's why I get nervous with folks trying this, there's so much to it. The crown weight, the lean you're starting with, the actual fiber strength you're cutting. As we all know, different trees, hinge fiber reacts differently. Some bend a lot, some just snap like hard candy. So you got to, that kind of stuff comes with experience. But you got to understand that when you put that undercut here, the linear pull on that little piece of hinge wood just goes bonkers. Now the notch. If you're just sort of stuck, if you will, pardon the term, on using a Humboldt notch, this hinge can't hold any further than when that closes right there. I hope you see, I don't want to get hit with this thing, but I'm not holding it, right? Both hands. That's as far as that tree can come down, and that hinge has to break. When that breaks, the tree takes off in its natural lean. So what I'm hoping I can do, without making two videos here, watch your eyes, sawdust gonna fly. With that angle opened up, didn't change anything here. The tree settles down, moves the crown around. Now as it's going around, that hinge can keep working. It's still holding. You see where it's still connected? And it will continue holding that swing in that arc. You just got to realize as soon as that hinge wood pops, the tree doesn't continue in that fall line. Gravity just takes over and it goes straight down. And you can see that in a lot of the videos. It starts around and then the hinge fails and it drops short of the optimum spot on the ground. Safety wise, plan B has to be okay. Open that notch angle up so your hinge wood can work for you, and it's going to help it bring it over further. And the reason I wanted to do this here, just thinking of plan B has to be okay, you can see here I'm working right next to wherever it is there, the house. When you're working around something like that, you don't screw around. You do something, that's absolute. Hope that helps, guys. Be safe. Take care.